A diagnosis of breast cancer or ovarian cancer not only attacks women at the core, that is, our sense of our own mortality, but our sense of our own identity.
And I was afraid there'd be a stigma, that people would think of me as a person with cancer.
We were really just holding on to each other for dear life. And for a while, it was hard to get sexual thoughts. It was more like survival thoughts.
A woman is so much more than just the ability to bear children or the ability to nurse a child.
I loved my new body image. Back to, I felt like when I did when I was 10, 11, 12 years old, when I didn't have breasts either.
There is so much life after breast cancer.
I'd like to propose a toast to all the cancer survivors, not only breast cancer survivors, but all the cancer survivors. And to toast to my wife, being a 21-year cancer survivor. And may God continue to bless her and keep her and continue to bless her with good health for the days to come, years to come, eons. To you and to those.
I heard my mother say that my great-grandmother had had breast cancer, and I think that was my first hearing of breast cancer. As the years went on, my grandmother, as well as my mother and my 3 sisters and I, were all diagnosed with cancer, and one of my nieces as well. So it's managed to riddle its way through at least 5 generations of my family.
Come on, boy. Sequoia, come on. Good boy. I knew about cancer as a kid because my mom took care of a neighbor of ours who was dying of cancer and got the sense that it was a horrid, ravaging disease that you really hope you never get. Want to go see? I did find the lump myself by doing breast self-exams, and sure enough, this one seemed to be growing in size. I noticed it in the early winter, and to everyone's amazement, none of us was expecting it to be a cancer at that age, and healthy person who eats well and takes care of herself. We were all pretty shocked.
When I heard the word cancer, I thought that meant I was going to die. In 1992, I was diagnosed with stage 3C ovarian cancer. I had surgery and then started chemotherapy drugs. I had 8 years of remission and had a recurrence. If I had not listened to my own body and had not thought about it's unnatural for me to be on the floor taking a nap at 9 o'clock in the morning, I would probably be dead. If I had ignored my symptoms any longer, I probably would have been dead.
There had been a lump in my armpit of the other breast that I'd been watching for a long time. It had been there the whole time. And one day, it seemed bigger. It was the same thing. Intraductal cancer slammed right back into all of this turmoil and chaos and what same choices again, mastectomy versus lumpectomy. Was I really willing to lose the one breast I had? For me, my personal belief came to be, my breast tissue seems to grow cancers. I think I don't want to run that risk again. So the mastectomy became pretty clear to me, and the minute I saw my chest, this wonderful relief came over me. I loved my new body image. I felt free and like I didn't have to be flirty or self-conscious about my body anymore. I don't have these breasts, I don't have these things that are supposed to attract men or something, and I feel more comfortable. What was our conversation about cancer before or after kissing?
After.
After.
We had just held hands before we kissed.
Mm-hmm. And
then,
birded. And,
yes, birded. Of course.
Shared how much we love birds.
I'm just talking about the physical part.
Okay.
And then that walk, I mean, I vividly remember that walk. The whole thing, it was like, that was when we laid it all out.
Mm-hmm. But you
okay,
just
here's all my problems.
and...
1, 2, 3, 4. And she would say, okay, here's all my problems. And we were both like, oh, okay, well, now that that's all out, let's move on.
I was afraid I was being a little bit too practical because I was pretty insistent that I wanted Steve to see and feel my chest before we progressed very far as we were getting naked. I didn't want to have a little camisole on or a little half shirt or have it so dark in the room that he couldn't see. So I pretty much said, hey, you have to look at this. That's how I remember it. What's your...
And you made me look before I could touch.
Uh-huh.
As my hands moved up your side, you said, wait. And that's when you took your top off or whatever you were wearing at the time. I remember.
And you remember what you thought?
I probably thought, oh, okay, let's get on with it. You know, I wanted to make love, and that wasn't stopping me. Breasts weren't required to have that experience. So I was, I guess you could say, over it.
I met Kenneth when I was in 7th grade. I had a crush on him all through 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, high school. When I met Kenneth again and it looked like we were going to have a relationship, I was talking to him on the phone one night and I said, Kenneth, I have to tell you that I have had breast cancer. And he said, yes, I know. I said, well, I've had bilateral mastectomy. I have no breast. He said, just like in 7th grade. So that part of it, it was just a comforting approach to me. And then when we actually consummated our relationship, there was no inhibition, and he was just very caring, very gentle. He's a very sweet man, and I have a wonderful companion.
When the woman is diagnosed with cancer, it's a time to support and not to repel. I'm speaking to the men out there. It is time to unite, because as a team, you work together and you continue to seek that medical information and the right kinds of care. And if you do it soon enough, most likely the victory will be yours.